Here you're looking at a chart that shows intervals between different notes. Just as in the English language, the word interval simply means the space between two different things. In music specifically, it means the distance between two notes, which is measured in both a quality measurement and a numeric distance. So the way that this chart is read is little d stands for diminished, little m for minor, big M for major, big P for perfect, big A for augmented. Interval distances are pronounced as ordinals, first, second, third, as opposed to 1, 2, 3. So for instance, I would read this interval from C to C sharp as an augmented first, A1. A augmented, 1 first. For this table, it is assumed that the low note of each interval is the scale degree 1. So, for instance, if I want to know the distance or the interval from C to E, I assume that the low note is C, and then I look on the chart for E, and I can tell you by looking at the chart that the interval between C and E is a major third. Sounds like this. Major third. It's a third because there are 3 notes, 1, 2, 3, C, D, E, and I know that it's a major third because all of the notes that live within the scale, whatever is on the first scale degree, if the note above it is in that scale, in that key, then it's either a major interval or a perfect interval. The perfect intervals are 1, 4, and 5. 8, of course, is the same as 1, C to C. So 1, 4, and 5 are perfect. All the other ones are major. 2, 3, 6, and 7 are all major intervals. So, remembering back to the circle of fifths, say we're in the key of C, has 0 sharps and 0 flats. So I know that anytime I get to a natural note, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, that it's going to be in the key, and that it'll be either a perfect if it's 1, 4, or 5, or a major interval if it's 2, 3, 6, or 7. So, from scale degree 1 to 7 is what? A major 7th. From 1 to 7 is a major 7th. Let's try it in a different key. For instance, if we're in the key of A, how do we figure out the key signature of A? Well, sharps go around clockwise to the right, so it has 0, 1, 2, 3 sharps in it. Which 3 notes are sharp in the key of A? Starting at the spur, we count the first 3 notes clockwise. F, C, and G are all sharp in the key of A. So, if my low note is A, and I go to an F here, F sharp, from an A to an F sharp, what is my interval? I can count the letters. A, B, C, D, E, F, which is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I double check, is F sharp in the key of A? Going back to my circle of fifths, which 3 notes are sharp in the key of A? F, C, and G. So yes, F sharp, F is sharp in the key of A. So that means it's a major interval. Now let's look at modifications. What if it's not a major or a perfect interval? Anytime you have a major interval and you lower it a half step, so that's what the minus means, it becomes a minor interval. So going back to the key of C for simplicity, if I go C to E, that's a major third. If I lower it a half step to E flat, C to E flat is a minor third. Also, let's try it from C to D. Normally, from C to D is a major second. If I lower that a half step, from C to D flat, it becomes a minor second. If you lower a perfect interval, it becomes diminished. This most commonly occurs on the fifth scale degree, so normally C to G is a perfect fifth, C to G, perfect fifth. If I lower that, it becomes a diminished fifth, C to G flat. When you raise an interval a half step, that's what the plus indicates, it becomes an augmented interval. So from C to C sharp, it's an augmented first. From C to G sharp is augmented fifth instead of the perfect fifth. So you tell me, from C to A sharp, what's the interval? You could do it one of two ways. You could look at the chart. A sharp is an augmented sixth. I guess one of three ways. Way number two is you could listen to it. And if you have lots of practice, you could go, that's an augmented sixth, of course, with lots of practice. Or you could do it by looking at the circle of fifths and thinking to yourself, in the key of C, there are no sharps and no flats. So if I run into any sharps, I know that it's a modification up from what it normally is. So from a C to an A sharp, I just count letters, count my way up. C, D, E, F, G, A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, some kind of a sixth. It's not a major sixth because A is natural in the key of C. It's an A sharp, so what's higher than a major sixth? An augmented sixth.